1.59 fantasy points per dropback on unpressured dropbacks. That ranks second best among tight ends behind only Mark Andrews. And what does that constitute in terms of the boost? Oh, it's only a 149% boost. It's time now, as always on a Friday, to pop out official plays. I'm putting 10 up here. I'll continue doing my research today, tonight, tomorrow. I'll update some things. So there's always going to be a little difference from what I have over on the website, fantasypoints.com, and what we have here. Sometimes we drop them down early on a Friday here, and we're better off. Sometimes we're not. But I will say this. Obviously, I hate losing. I am addicted to winning. I love it. So I'm always striving for that. But it is football. It's a very odd-shaped ball. My point I'm trying to get to is these are good picks. I don't know if they're going to hit, obviously. They're good. I will sleep like a baby tonight and tomorrow because these are good picks. Of course, last week's were good too, and we didn't have a good week. But we've had way more good weeks than bad weeks. So just throwing that out there, they're good picks. Now, I will say, I would say every maybe 15 picks that I produce, I come up with a really dumb one. So I'm not perfect. But every once in a while I win those quote-unquote dumb ones like Lucas Krull. And by the way, I want in on Lucas Krull this week. If I could make Lucas Krull my top play, I would. But I don't. Oh, there it is. We do have a Lucas Krull. Well, I'm not going to make it the top play, and I'm not going to make it an official play, but I just noticed this live. Lucas Krull is going over 14.5 yards. You are welcome for this one here because it's the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, come on. See, what are we doing here? Every week we're advocating or advising people to start tight ends against the Baltimore Ravens. So there you go. Good old Luke Krull, baby. All right. Well, we all saw what Cade Otton did in that matchup, by the way. 8 for 100. If Cade Otton get 8 for 100, then Krull can get 4 for 50, baby. Let's go. But more importantly, let's get back to official picks here. And I will go with another tight end. Maybe this one's a little risky because he is dealing with an ankle, but he did practice today. So I'm going to go for it. Now, I haven't made an official pick on the website, by the way, but we'll see if there's any concern about the ankle. Maybe I'll reach out to some sources there close to the team that I have. But 51.5 is the number, and here's why I like it. The Chargers play 2 high looks at the 3rd highest clip and zone coverage at the 2nd highest rate, and Njoku crushes zone. He has a 23% target per route run against zone, a 32% target route run against 2 high. And since the start of last year, Njoku has been getting a 21% boost in efficiency against 2 high and a 15% boost against zone. Guys getting it done here in just 15 full quarters of work. Njoku has 34 targets. 27 of them are first read targets. 24 grabs for $199 and 2 scores. That is pretty darn ridiculous. It really all equates to 9 targets a game, which would be tight end 1 in terms of usage. So it's also, by the way, a tougher matchup on the outside for Cedric Tillman, who sees, and granted not a huge sample size, but he sees a 28% decrease to his yards per route run and a 41% decrease to his fantasy points per route run against 2 high since the start of last season. I know National Tight End Week was last week, but every week on this show is kind of National Tight End Week because the NFL is dictating that to us. They are kind of daring teams to run the ball and throw in the middle of the field to their tight ends. So, okay. We'll oblige with Sammy LaPorta. Remember him? 40.5. We're going over Green Bay Packers, even dating back to last year with a different coordinator, just chaos in the middle of the field. They're not good. They give up the 5th most receptions and the 6th most receiving yards per game to tight ends last week. to my point, the Jaguar dudes totaled 9 grabs for 95 yards and a touch in this matchup. The Packers have allowed the second most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to tight ends. And Samuel LaPorta, by the way, they don't have a good pass rush in Green Bay. They're like bottom 5. And as we know, Jared Goff, you have a clean pocket with Jared Goff, you're good to go because he doesn't react very well to pressure. Samuel LaPorta has 0.59 fantasy points per dropback on unpressured dropbacks. That ranks second best among tight ends behind only Mark Andrews since the start of last season. And what does that constitute in terms of the boost? Oh, it's only 149% boost for LaPorta. So in other words, if LaPorta is targeted on a non-pressured throw, 149% boost to his fantasy points per route run. Probably a lot of that's touchdown related, of course. He scored a bunch of them last year. Moving on to another good play. We'll see if it hits or not, but going in, it's good. Terry McLaurin over 64.5. Giants do have a good pass rush. They have generated the third highest time to a throw adjusted pressure rate over expectation. Jaden Daniels has a whopping 35% scramble rate when pressured. He throws deep nearly twice as often when he leaves the pocket, 17%, which would rank as the second base. And Terry McLaurin ranks top 5 in air yard share this year at 47%. So he's the obvious option for Jaden Daniels. Now, I will say, if this does not hit, I can almost guarantee that Noah Brown will hit, because Noah Brown would be the other guy to benefit from a scramble drill situation, as we learned last week with the Hail Mary. But McLaurin's been really good. I was worried, very worried, because I was very high in McLaurin once I saw, Jaden Daniels, I like him. He's looking good. Okay, let's go. They also traded away Jahan Dotson, which is a big part of it. But McLaurin's getting it done, 52-plus yards in 6 straight. New York also runs the 4th highest rate of single high coverage, and McLaurin crushes that. 2.89 yards per route run on 131 routes against single high. We like George Pickens in this matchup last week. Granted, he barely got it done, but he didn't get a lot of targets either. 4 for 74, and the Giants benched Deonte Banks last week for stinking. And Greg Stroman is a backup, and good luck covering Terry McLaurin in your man coverage, Greg Stroman. Moving on, the aforementioned Jakobi Meyers. Love Jakobi Meyers. 52.5. The Bengals have played single high looks 50% of the time in 6 of their 8 games. And Meyers, his targets per route run more than doubles against single high from 13% to 29%. And he sees a 29.7% boost in his targets per route run. In contrast, Brock Bowers has been less efficient, by the way, against single high, which maybe explains why we lost Bowers prop last week. But we move on to McConkey, who leads the Chargers with a 24% target share against single high coverage. And Cleveland runs that at a top 3 clip. They also run man, as we mentioned, so he'll go over 50.5. I love this one here. Devon Achane over 35.5 receiving yards. The Bills have allowed the 3rd most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to opposing running backs through the air, and the most receiving yards per game, and the highest target share to opposing backfields. 46% of Achane's receiving production comes from the backfield, but he's lined up 25% in the slot, second most among running backs, and the Bills allow the 6th highest target share to the slot. So I love that one. I'm in on Malik Neighbors this week at 68.5. I know DC's gotten a lot better, but I'm still in. And then I'm going back to the well with Jordan Addison. Squeaky wheel situation here because he was not happy after he lost my prop for me last week. But he is averaging pretty solid numbers against cover 3, which the Colts run a ton. And then last but not least, Alvin Kamara, 67.5. It's been bet up, but they're 7.5 favorites, and he averages 0.79 fantasy points per snap while leading. That is more than double what he averages while trading. We need to bring out the best bet of the day. GBank Visa Signature Card is your best bet, delivering 1% cashback rewards on eligible gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. For more information, VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. And it is Josh Downs over 57.5. He leads the Colts in target share, and it's a great matchup against the Vikings. You are welcome.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.